Okay, it is officially time for the A to Z mini changes rework thingamabobber blah blah blah. Cho'Gath, the terror of the void. This could not be any more true. It's damage, magic. Tis true. Style, pretty mixed between auto attacks and abilities, slightly more abilities. This is true. Difficulty 1. This is very, very true. So, this should be 3. It should be 3. That's all I have to say. This should be 5. You think 3's the highest? No. 5. This as well. This is okay. This is probably the only thing that I would say is... honestly, I'd say this should be 3 as well. Now that I really think about it. And their other 2 are completely correct. But these should all be higher. All of them. Because he's stupid. From the moment Cho'Gath first emerged into the harsh lights of Runeteria's sun, the beast was driven by the most pure and insatiable hunger, a perfect expression of the void's desire to consume all life. Cho'Gath's complex biology quickly converts matter into new bodily growth, increasing its muscle mass and density, or hardening its outer carapace like organic diamond. When growing larger does not suit the void spawn's needs, it vomits out the excess material as razor-sharp spines, leaving prey skewered and ready to feast upon later. What? When growing larger does not... Oh, really? I don't know about that. Guess that gives reason to one of its abilities. Okay. Carnivore. Stupid. Whenever Cho'Gath kills a unit, he recovers health and mana. The values restored increase with Cho'Gath's level. This is beyond ridiculous. No matter how much you poke him, no matter what you do, no matter how much you hit him, no matter what you think you can possibly beat him with, he is going to revive it all because it heals him for way too much. It gives him way too much mana. It is ridiculous. Like, I wish it showed a health bar, showed him being at 10% HP, and was like, oh, he's at 100 now after 2 minions. It's really not that bad, but it's literally like killing a single wave, actually killing it, because it doesn't have to be an auto attack. Just killing the entire wave literally gives him a ton. Like, he could be at low HP, he'll be at half. It is a ridiculous amount, first off. Second off, it gives him way too much sustain that you can't do anything about. What else is there? Third off, it shouldn't give back both mana and HP because, yet again, the sustain is just ridiculous. He can literally never stop using abilities. And, and the fact that it's not, like, auto attacks. If it was auto attacks, okay. Honestly, it'd be pretty okay. But the fact that it's just killing them. Because his abilities alone towards the end, even if he's not building, like, a lot of AP, because everything he does scales off of AP. Even if he's just building, like, Roa, which, yeah, gives HP and AP. But nonetheless, he can one-shot the entire group of caster minions. With one of his abilities. I'm just like, okay. And now he literally gained more mana than he just used to kill them, plus HP. Like, it is ridiculous. If it was auto attack based, okay, it'd be pretty reasonable. But it's not. Rupture. Ruptures the ground in a target location, popping enemy units into the air, dealing damage, and slowing them. This is stupid. It's too fast. It's so hard to dodge. It's ridiculous. And how, like... for how far he can fling it, and how big it is just a very stupid ability. It should give a longer, like, awareness of where it is, and if, like, something like Scion's Q, where he needs to, like, place it in an area and, like, hold the button in or something, where he cannot move while he's doing it, And if he, like, just activates it right away, then it'll only cause a slow. Something like that. It's just too strong. It's too easy CC with too much of a range, or too big to dodge, and just... Stupid. Feral Scream. Cho'Gath unleashes a terrible scream at enemies in a cone, dealing magic damage and silencing enemies for a few seconds. Yet again, this ability is super annoying. This is the ability that, as you just saw, kills minions really fast. Later in the game, or not even later in the game, he could still be in laning phase, and he can use this to kill the backline of minions and gain back a ton of mana, a ton of HP, and just not care. And not only that, but it silences you. Now, I'm fine, honestly, with the silence, but the amount of damage it does, mixed with the silence, it's dumb. And the range on it is so unclear. Like, there are so many times where I have not been in that little, like, electric wave thing, and I've still been silenced, and I'm just like, excuse me? How did you hit me? And, like, your hit from it, it's just dumb. It's dumb. Vorpal Spikes. Okay, Cho'Gath's attacks release deadly spikes, dealing damage and slowing all enemies' units in front of him. Really? Really? 1. Why does it slow? Why in the hell does this slow? It's the next 3 auto attacks you do, which I don't understand why it doesn't say that. It used to be a passive that there was no reason to not have on. And it didn't used to slow. Before, it was just literally a passive E that would just cause your auto attacks to become AoE in, like, a line. And it didn't use any mana. So it was just like, wait a minute. So I can click on this and keep it on forever with having no backlash. And it's like, yep. I was like, oh, okay. And yet again, it didn't use mana. So, you know, Carnivore, you'd kill the backline with it. And it's like, okay, nice. But it's stupid. It's your next 3 auto attacks. Do a line, build off of AP, and slow. And I'm just like, excuse me. Excuse me. Why do you slow? Because he can literally W, Q, and then walk up and EU. He'll then slow you for his next 3 auto attacks, and then be able to nom you, which is his next ability. Or he'll be able to Q you again, because that ability has no cooldown. Feast. Devours an enemy unit, dealing a high amount of true damage if the target is killed. Cho'Gath grows, gaining maximum HP. This ability is completely ridiculous in every way, shape, and form. So it builds off of his maximum HP. It does true damage, and it also builds off of his ability power. So abilities like, or items like Roa and Riley's Crystal Scepter are just one-shot items for him. The fact that it does true damage is completely ridiculous. The fact that I'm fine with it gaining him HP, but it makes him be literally capable of one-shotting with his ult alone to people like ADCs and squishier targets. Now, yes, this is only when he builds, like, super health, gets a lot of kills type deal. But it's still, it does so much damage. It does so much true damage. It's a point-and-click ability that you can't dodge. You don't know what the range is, because it's not like it's right next to him. It's not like it's literally the direct vicinity around him and nowhere else. It's a pretty decent area around him. Like, honestly, I'd say this is about it. But with 3 forms of CC, like, it's really not hard for him to gain that range. And you see how he gets bigger, too. He also gets bigger with, like, his growing HP. And he can ult minions. Now, the minions will not permanently gain him increased HP. He can only do it 3 times, giving him giving him an increase of HP. And then upon dying, he'll lose all 3 of the stacks. But it's still something where, like, okay, I'm definitely not going to kill my laner. Let me just nom on a cannon minion real fast because he can't kill me. Let me do this 3 times, and oh, now I have enough HP and ability power finally to kill him, so I'm just going to flash. I'm just going to all in him and dead. It's like, excuse me? Okay. Now, Cho'Gath is one of the three, one of the difficulty 1 champions that I think needs a mini rework or a full-on rework to be like fully changed. So I'm going to discuss a few things when it comes to Cho'Gath. So first and foremost, I'm gonna just change his abilities as they are currently, such as his passive. 1, make it auto attack only. 2, lower how much it heals and how much mana it gives back. Literally lower everything it is. If they don't, you can pick one or the other, honestly. I'd say that if it's auto attack only, then you know what? The amount that it heals and give back mana might honestly be pretty okay. But since it's not, and it's also off of abilities, it's ridiculous. So I guess, like, it is a pretty high amount that he gives back with mana and everything, but at least when it comes to auto attacks, it's possible to keep him from doing it. When it comes to abilities, there's literally nothing you can do. Because, like, in usual cases, when people are hard farming but using their abilities, so they're running out of mana, you just have to wait for them to run out of mana, and then you're just like, okay, now I can finally do something. But in his case, this gives him back more mana than he expends, and it's impossible. It's just too much lane sustain, and that's really all it is lane sustain. So, like, their main goal is just to survive in lane with him and just try not to feed him. But, you know, when he has so much CC and can just nom you, that's actually a pretty difficult task. The main way I would say to even, like, beat a lot of different people like Cho'Gath is just poke them out of lane. But you can't do that with Cho'Gath because he has so much sustain. So, as I said, I would either do one or the other, such as change his feast to give him back he'll only give back mana and HP upon auto attack kills, or I would keep it the way it is, but lower the health and mana it gets a significant amount. A significant amount. And I would also lower how much it scales with level. Like, yet again, a significant amount. Because, yeah, as I just said, it's mostly used in laning phase. And, like, with level, oh, you're not going to use it as much. But at the same time, if Cho'Gath manages to live through a fight, like, in late game, and he doesn't have, like, a Warmogs or anything like that, he is capable of just walking over and killing an entire minion wave and healing back a good chunk of his HP, especially if he has something like Spirit Visage where he heals even more. It's just it's too strong on him. It's too strong. His Q, Rupture, as I already said, it's too much range, it's too much damage, it's too AoE, by that I mean like the circle, and it's too much CC. So, first things first, I would probably make it a slow instead of a knockup. I would keep it the range that it is and the AoE if you change it into a slow, but I would probably lower its damage, like the scaling, even the base damage. Because you'd be surprised how much damage that really does if you don't have any MR. Now, if you're another tank and you do have MR, it's not that bad. It's pretty reasonable and okay. But at the same time, what it currently is just way too strong. And, like, it needs to not be a knockup, honestly. Above all else, it just needs to be a slow. Because he's just way too strong as he is currently. Okay, W. You know what? Keep it the way it is. If he loses his passive and this thing can't get him his mana and energy back, or his mana and health back, then it's fine for the most part. Yeah, obviously I'm going to be annoyed by a silence, but, you know, like, silences are a form of CC that I will have to accept. And the damage of it is pretty high, but even tanks do need at least one form of damage. And you know what? I'm fine with his Screech being it, and not his entire kit. His E, Vorpal Spikes. I'm fine with this doing the 3 auto attack thing. I'm even fine as it counting as an auto attack for it to gain his HP and mana back. I'm fine with that because now it actually costs mana, and now like that. But take away the slow. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. We can keep it a slow with his E if his Q changes to a slow as well. If his Q stays a knockup, then this should not slow. It should only do the ability damage and make a line, like a line damage. But the fact that his E slows is ridiculous. Because especially when it comes to in lane, if you land your Q on anyone or your WQ, he can walk right over to you because you were just knocked up and didn't move at all, and just auto attack you 3 more times, and you're slowed for each one of them, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then by the time he's done auto attacking you, his Q is probably back up because it has a pretty small cooldown. Which, yet again, I would be okay with this if it was only a slow, but the fact that it's such an AoE knockup is a really big problem. So, as I said, I'd be fine with it counting as an auto attack and proccing his passive, as I was saying with, whatever the heck it's called, giving him HP only through auto attack kills, HP and mana and everything. I'm fine with that, but I don't think that, the slow is really necessary. As I said, the slow, and even if you do change his Q to slow, I think that the slow that his E gives off should be shortened. It shouldn't last as long, nor should it be as big of a slow. So it should be shortened in literally every way. And his Nom, for the love of God, it doesn't do true damage. That's it. That's all you need to do. Take away the true damage. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Keep the thing where he can just nom on minions. This will not count as an auto attack, so him killing a unit with it will not give him HP or mana. It will not do. It will only be based off of his HP and nothing else. It will only scale with HP, and it will be shortened in how much HP it scales with. It will increase his HP permanently, which I'm also fine with, because yes, it will make a nom that hurts, but it will not do any true damage at all. See, the problem here is it says dealing high amount of true damage. He already does all of his abilities cause him to do pretty reasonable damage and CC you. Having this nom with it is completely ridiculous because he can pick one target and say you will not move, you will not do anything, and you are now dead. I agree that yes, he is a bruiser, but he is supposed to, yet again, stir up a team fight. He is supposed to get in the back line and make them panic. He is not supposed to kill. So with this, he would only nom you and do whatever the heck it's called. Just hurt you pretty badly and really nothing more unless you've already done damaged quite a bit. It will do 0 true damage. My God, it's ridiculous. To be completely honest, though, as I was saying earlier with a rework, I do think he needs one, but this is the first time I really don't have a full-on rework for anyone. See, when it comes to Cho'Gath, I would probably change, mix up his abilities, which most of my reworks, that's really what the main point is I would change it so that his Q was more like his E, and it was something that kind of converts his auto attacks into ranged things. And then I would allow it to do the slow, and that's it. I don't really have anything for his passive. I would keep the silence, but I would turn it in I would keep his W being a screech, but it wouldn't silence, it would fear. And then his E, I would actually make into his ult, sort of, where he bites someone, recovery, or not really recovering anything. It's really just a bite that'll be built off of his HP. And it'll scare very, very little with his HP, nor will it gain him extra HP for using it. Or it will actually gain him extra HP for using it, but only on minions. If he happens to bite a actual champion, kill them, it will not give him permanent HP. It will only count as one of the 3 stacks he can get to gain some HP. And upon dying, he will lose all 3 stacks. And then I would turn his ult into more of like a kind of like Galio ult, but a little... Okay, never mind. Then honestly, it's not at all like Galio. If anything, I'd say it's kind of like Singed, where he would gain like spikes on his body, and he would gain like a Thornmail passive. So kind of like Rammus W, I guess, where upon people hitting him with auto attacks, would cause damage to be dealt back to them, and then he would gain a small amount of magic and armor resist. Okay, well, armor and magic resist. And that would really be it for that. And as I said, I really don't have anything for his passive. I'd probably... It would keep it some sort of sustain, such as... I maybe, like, honestly keep it what it is currently, where he gains back HP from killing anything, but he doesn't gain back mana. Something like that. That would be much more of like a mini rework over a full-on this is a rework. But I think Cho'Gath honestly just needs to be changed. I don't see any part of him that's balanced in the slightest. I don't understand how Riot sees him as being a balanced champion as he is currently. Like, he can't die in lane because of how much sustain he has. His knockup is so overpowered, it hurts so badly. It knocks you up for so long. It can knock up a full 5-man team. Like, oh my lordy, what? What? His W, yet again, it's so AoE, it can silence a full 5-man team, especially if they got stuck in the knockup. His Q also, it comes up so fast that it's so difficult to dodge. His W, at the same time, it's insanely difficult to dodge, but at least that one, like as I said, I find it as a good ability as it is right now. His E should not slow you currently. Oh, my lordy. Like, you just get locked in a permanent area of CC, and you can't do anything about it. Like, the only thing you can do is, whatever the heck it's called. That one item. Like, yeah, you can get Tenacity from Mercury's Tread and, like, the rune. But at the same time, like, it's just too much CC. You can't get away from him. And even if you use that one item, he still has his slow, or he still has the slows from his E. So yeah, you'll be able to deactivate one of them, but he has 2 more auto attacks to reapply it. Plus his knockup is that it's such a slow cooldown, you can do it again, and then he just noms you. And like there's no counterplay to the nom. There's no way to dodge it. There's nothing to do about it. Like, it's a point and click ability that is just dumb. Okay, let's go over to his skins. Well, actually, let me do the recap real fast. For the rework, I would just swap up his abilities for the most part. I'd take away his Q. I'd replace his Q with his E. I'd make the W Fear. I would make his E just be a bite that can stack 3 times upon giving him HP. His ult would just be a Singed ult, where it would give him armor and magic resist, but it would also make auto attacks do whatever the heck it's called, bounce off of him and hurt other people. And it would probably increase his Q damage, but not his E or his W. Why only his Q? Because his Q is literally spikes that are being shot off his body, and as I already said, his ult would be creating spikes on him. And then his passive would basically be the same, but nerfed. And then the changes I made, I would change his passive to only auto attacks. Give him back mana and HP. His Q would only slow, and not give off whatever the heck it's called. And that would really be the only difference, is it would only slow. his W would be the exact same as it is, and his E would still be the same that it is, except for the slow would last less time and be a smaller slow in general, and his ult would do 0 true damage and only be built off of his HP and not AP or anything else. Only his HP. Okay, let's travel over to skins. Nightmare Cho'Gath, I think, honestly, is pretty stupid for the most part. It's literally just base Cho'Gath, but purple. There you go. I kind of just wish it got, like, an update, like a visual update. I think that it could. It has a lot of potential. It just doesn't fit anything. Gentleman Cho'Gath is also the same thing. I just wish it got a bit of a visual update. As it is currently, it just kind of looks stupid to me. Yet again, Loch Ness Cho'Gath, just kind of, it just looks stupid to me. It just doesn't really look like anything major. Sorry about that. Jurassic Cho'Gath I actually really like. I think it looks really cool. And as it is currently is just fine. Same with Battlecast Cho'Gath. I really like the speakers that are supposed to be his yell. A lot of the animations he has in general. I like Battlecast Prime Cho'Gath. I didn't realize about the Prime. And yeah, and prehistoric Cho'Gath I also think is very cool. How they combine like just the way that he looks, I think is very cool. Now when it comes to what skins I would give him like skins that progress. Like upon him ulting, it wouldn't just make him bigger. It would actually like evolve him, such as I would give like a skin that I would only call like evolution. I guess that's kind of like Victor's main point is evolution and everything, but it would just basically be a skin for any champion. This would be go for like all champions that as they progress in the game, they physically just like get stronger from themselves and not from like items and things like that. And basically it would put like a lot of like yellow parts on his body. The main colors would be like yellow and black, or black and yellow, whatever you want to say. It would start him out as only looking like a little guy. Like these hooks on his bodies would be a lot smaller, kind of like this, but like have 2 of them. Maybe like another one of these little ones up above. The spikes on his body would be a lot more like laid back. His claws and everything would just like look a lot less like sharp and intimidating. But then as he ults more people and as he becomes like bigger and better, which this wouldn't really work, as I was saying earlier, for the my other skin, or the rework, as I said, he'd only be able to gain HP with his E, so this skin would work with it, but in like a much lesser tune. Such as it would only have 3 forms instead of like what I'm talking about now, which would have like 5 or so. Like at like low HP, high HP type D. Not like high HP is in like max HP, and then one is when you're only at like 10% HP. More like when you actually have like, this is you at a 500 HP. This is you at 1,000 HP. This is you at 2,000 HP. This is you at 3,000 HP type deal. And then, like, towards the end of it, he'd have, like, a ton of spikes just launching out of his back. He'd have these giant hooks, but, like, even bigger than they are currently. He'd have horns coming out of his head. His claws would look like giant axes, basically. They'd be dual-sided. Like, you see this right here? It's the thing that's coming out right here. It would both have, like, a sharp point here and then, like, a sharp point here that would be, like, completely dual-sided. His claws would be, like, actually like these currently would have like a full 4 fingers, something like that, or maybe be like a full 5 fingers that just completely can tear you a new one. Or maybe something like it just gets wider and then it comes more claws, so instead of there only being 2, there'd be 6, 3 on each side, and he'd just be able to, like, it would look as if he can just crush you in his hand alone type deal. It's just like a super intimidating giant monster when he actually gets to his max stacks. Or like when he gets to the final form of it. That's really the only skin that I have for it. Just like, as I said, it's the evolution skin. It would be for anyone that just, like, evolves. This would also go really well with not Cho'Gath, the Kha'Zix. Victor would also do really well with it because of his passive, and so on and so forth. When it comes to like that, it would just be an evolutionary skin. And that is all for the Cho'Gath talk and rework. Basically, I think Cho'Gath is overpowered. He's just too much of a damage-inflicting CC tank, and it's just stupid for what he's capable of doing. I'll say yes, his big weakness is being locked up and CC'd because he really can't do anything when he's stuck like far away from you. But at the same time, when there's been times where I've been at like 50% HP and he ults me and I die, and I'm like, well, what could I do? Like, seriously, like, what option did I have? Because, like, I don't even think I'm in ult range, and I'm, like, a melee champion, just smacking away at him. He's at low HP, like, 25, 10% HP, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to kill him, and he noms out of desperation. He's like, oh, I got the kill. And it's just like, excuse me? And I know that, like, ADCs are a really big counter to him, but at the same time, he's capable of CCing them with, like, the knock-up and getting onto them so easily, especially, like, when it comes to, like, team comps. If you don't have, like, a Janna or someone that can peel, he can get on you so easy and just kill you instantly. And I don't like that. And, like, as I said, like, his weakness may be to CC you, or for him to, you to CC him, because then he won't be able to get near you. His Q knock-up will, yeah, be annoying and knock you up, but it really won't all be that big of a deal because he won't be able to get near you because he'll be CC'd at the same time. But, like, in a team fight, there are more, I don't really know what to say as a more prioritized target, because, like, yeah, you really want to get the ADC, and you want to get the mage, and you want to kill the people that are doing the damage, but then you focus all your efforts on him, and then you realize that Cho'Gath is right next to your ADC, and now you don't have an ADC anymore. It's like, yeah, you can have, like, a peel person like Janna, but Janna can peel that one initial burst, but Cho'Gath will probably live through that initial burst as long as the rest of his team is not feeding like there's no tomorrow and not being complete morons. Like, as I said, like, anyone, any champion, no matter how overpowered, if their team is completely incompetent, you can't do anything. But, like, in the cases where they're at least competent, you can just destroy the world. And in my opinion, it's just too strong. Okay, well, thank you all very much for watching. If you agree or disagree with any of the changes that I have to Cho'Gath, or like the skin idea or anything like that, or if you like the idea, you don't like it, please leave a comment. If you happen to know anyone from Riot, or you like type a lot in their forum, please like put a link in there or something like that, being like, hey, do this. This is balanced. You people are stupid and don't know how to balance. And I will and like, if you could even get like them in touch with me or something like that, I would love it. I would love to call every Riot member stupid and say you guys can't balance worth a damn. So, thank you all very much for watching the video. I hope to see you all next time, and I'm gonna bid you all adieu. Goodbye.